Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 371. I am Brendan. All right, we are going to talk about PFL versus Bellator, the very first cross-promotional event that wasn't really a cross-promotion because PFL bought Bellator. Anyway, we're going to talk about how the fights went. We're going to break them all down round by round. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of thing. That way you know when the next video is coming out. Helps me out, too. I would appreciate it. First fight we're going to talk about is Renan Ferreira versus Ryan Bader. Okay. The fight did not last long. Here I think we can watch the highlight here. Oh boy. Right hand, boom, and he's done. And that's it. That was the end of it. So, I don't know what else there is to say about that. There's not going to be, I don't know if there's going to be anything in the future for Bellator. For Bader versus any of these heavyweights. He's already shown that he's not able to hang with the light heavyweight champion in Vadim Nemkov. So where does he sit? What is he going to do? I don't know. I don't know if he calls it quits at the end of this. If he's going to officially retire or anything like that. He seemed to like being in Bellator and making the kind of money. It's a shame that organization went the way it did. I've been saying it for a long time. I think that both Showtime and Paramount, the owners of Showtime, they really screwed up the promotion. They screwed up the way that they operated, like trying to gate people from seeing it, putting it on a platform that almost nobody has. It makes it very difficult, right, for people to get into something that is as common as Bellator without easy access to that kind of stuff. And yeah, they would put the prelims up on YouTube, but I think that they really missed the mark there. So it's unfortunate. Anyway, Renan Ferreira, he's a giant guy, hits him with a right hand. A bunch of the shots did go to the back of the head, right? At the end of the fight, probably 3, 4, or 5 of the shots go to the back of the head. It's not... Okay. I want to talk about this just for a second here. During a fight ending sequence on the ground, during something that would be called like a TKO, a technical knockout. I know I'm being specific here, so I'm just going through this stuff just in case you're not familiar. If by fight ending sequence, I mean a TKO. So if I say that again, that's why you know what I mean. During a fight-ending sequence, the reason the referee stops the fight is because the fighter is no longer intelligently defending themselves. Okay, so that's why they would stop it. If during the fight-ending sequence, many of the strikes that are thrown are illegal, there's no intelligently defending yourself from illegal strikes. If the same thing were to happen, but the strikes were thrown to the groin, the fight would not be stopped. It would be put on pause, and then they would have a reset. If the fight did get stopped during that sequence, then it would be a DQ or a no contest or whatever. So strikes to the back of the head cannot be a part of the reason the fight is stopped. In this situation, was Ryan Bader hurt? Absolutely. Was he defending himself? Absolutely not. But the strikes that lead to ending the fight cannot be illegal. That's the problem I have with it. The last 4 or 5 strikes were all to the back of the head, targeted to the back of the head because Bader had already turned his back. And you can say he has given up at that point. I agree with you. But you can't throw to the back of the head. That if he turns his back and you hit him repeatedly in the nuts, would they stop the fight and give you the victory? Absolutely not. It's the same thing. It is not like there is no way you can tell me that hitting to the back of the head when a fighter is facing the other direction and not moving, there's no motion, that you can get away and say that, oh, that wasn't targeted. Bullshit. You're lazy. You're swinging your punches and you're just hitting, either you're lazy or you're doing things illegally on purpose. It's one of those two options. I don't have a problem with the stoppage. Okay, I don't have a problem with them calling this fight. But to say that, oh, he was already hurt, therefore anything that happened after that does not matter, is ridiculous. You can't say that nothing else after that point matters when that's the reason the fight gets stopped. All of the things that happened after he got hurt is why the fight got stopped. It didn't get stopped because it was a KO. It got stopped because it was a TKO, meaning he had to have had a fight-ending sequence in which strikes were unanswered by defense or other strikes from your opponent. And if those strikes are illegal, this should not be a discussion. That being said, I don't care that much about this. I think this was a huge dud, by the way. Also, at one point, they were trying to bait John Jones into saying something about the Ngannou fight, which he did. He said, "I'd love to fight him" or whatever. Making him say something about the UFC and cross promotion and stuff, and he was pretty strategic about the way he said it. Gave a PC answer that made sense. So then the freaking Sean O'Connell, he says, "Oh, the PFL is not standing in the way. There's one reason why this wouldn't happen." One reason? Is that what it is, Sean? There's only one reason why a cross promotion between the PFL and the UFC isn't happening, and that's just because the UFC doesn't want to do it. Is it not because the PFL is underperforming? It is also ran when it comes to organizations, and given this night and performances, the talent pool clearly isn't there. Bellator almost with the clean sweep, and the one win the PFL got was a giant guy beating an undersized heavyweight who only fights at heavyweight because Bellator's heavyweight pool was shallow. And that's where you're going to hang your hat. And you say, oh, well, this is because the UFC is standing in the way of the cross promotion. Standing in the way is a strong way to phrase that. I would say more like not wanting to commit career suicide. I don't want to also join this Kmart and Sears organization as they ride this ship into the ground. The UFC doesn't want to be a part of the Titanic after it hits the iceberg, right? So, I thought that was silly. I didn't like that. I hate that they're doing that. I know why they're doing it. I hope it doesn't work. All right, Impa Kasanganay versus Johnny Eblen. The fight was way more interesting than it deserved to be, and when I say deserved to be, it's because of the rest of the fights on the card. But this fight was really, really good. Eblen was right out in the middle using his kicks to enter. Eblen gets a beautiful single leg at 430, back up with no damage, and they get still in the clinch. Eblen's throwing more out there, using the light low kick and the jab. The right hand from Impa is able to find the mark with some of his shots, but nothing sustained, right? He wasn't able to sustain damage. It was one or two shots here. And then as the round went on, Impa did do a better job, and he did more damage down the stretch in the last 2 minutes of the round. That being said, I didn't see anything in the last 2 minutes that would warrant him doing more damage overall in that first round than Eblen. But, Chael Sonnen, on the other hand, he's like, oh, he might have stole that round. I don't see it. I didn't get it. One of the judges had it that way. I did not. I think it was 10-9 Johnny Eblen. Yes, Kasanganay made it closer down the stretch, but he was not able to do enough. Right? He wasn't able to put his stamp. Had he hurt Eblen at the end of the round, wobbled him or something like that, similar to the Whitaker situation that we had last week, I think he could have got it, but 10-9 Eblen. Second round, Kasanganay comes out hot, landing some hooks, finds a mark with a left hand. Eblen goes down, and it looked like he was ready to win the fight, or to end the fight. Impa with nonstop pressure, landing the uppercut, the left hook, some really good damage. Eblen has to stop the pressure by turning it around, going for the takedowns, pushing up against the fence, slowing things down. They separate and they keep landing damage, but Eblen throws back, and you can tell that Kasanganay used up a lot of energy. He wasn't exactly exhausted, but he wasn't as explosive as he was in the beginning of the second round. Down the stretch, Eblen gets to the back, gets a takedown, stays on his back for a little bit. He finds a rear naked choke attempt, not able to get it. Some decent ground and pound as the fight as the round ended. So I had it 19-19. The second round, regardless of all the stuff that Eblen did, the amount of damage that Impa did in the beginning of the second round, it was almost insurmountable. 19-19 going to the third. Eblen's just not landing with the power early in this round, right? The only thing was that was there for him was this jab. Then, about a minute and a half in, Eblen started finding the mark with the right hand again, making Impa react big, fight off the back foot, and then Eblen gets in some trades with him, gets a takedown with 90 seconds left, takes the back, gets a body triangle, throws some neck cranks in there for good measure, controls his way to the victory, in my opinion, 29-28. He did get the split decision here. I don't agree with the split decision. I thought that the first round was close, but it clearly was Eblen's. Second round clearly was Kasanganay's, and then the last round clearly was Eblen. So that's the way it should have gone. I don't know why that one judge saw that first round. I'd like to hear an explanation. All right, Ray Cooper taking on Jason Jackson. Jabbing a low kick land for Jackson. Cooper looking to hook his way into range and land some big shots. Not able to do it. This first round, it started to go south really quick. Jackson's ability to land the low kick and pressure was giving Cooper issues, and he wasn't able to set for his strikes. He wasn't able to set up his offense. Wasn't able to step on that lead leg after about 3 minutes, and then Jackson was able to get the takedown with 2 minutes left, which probably saved Cooper. And then at the end of the round, Jackson went for the finish, wasn't able to get the finish, but Cooper not able to get back off. It just, I had a 10-8 for Jackson. I thought Jackson, they could have called that fight at the end of that round. There was a bunch of unanswered strikes. No need to get flustered about it, because Cooper, he needed a big shot in the second round. The fight's over, and as I was typing that, Jackson put him down with a low kick and then follows up to get the finish. Absolutely dominating by Jackson. He looks good, man. That was no fluke. Sound performance. Bruno Cappelozza versus Vadim Nemkov. Nemkov landing the low kick, getting the momentary takedown. Nemkov using the jab, to keep the distance, doubling up, landing up with the right hand at the end of it. Nemkov is much more active, and Cappelozza is reacting to all the things that are happening, right? So he's not able to get his own offense going. He's not able to lead the dance. Nemkov was using the right hand in the lead, then following with a left hook, which was nice. It just, neither one of these guys landed huge shots, so it was just a volume of damage from Nemkov. Counters with that right hand, pulling the counter right, looking smooth. It was really good. 10-9 round for him. There was even talks for Nemkov. They were not upset audibly, but they clearly wanted some PFL guys to win, and you could tell at this point, after two losses in a row, they were hoping for anything. So anytime Cappelozza did anything, they're like, oh, this could be it. Nope. Second round, both guys landing low kicks. Nemkov's finding the mark with that right hand again. It was there all day. Cappelozza lands a right hand after eating a couple, but can't capitalize because he gets taken down. This was that moment that I was talking about. I misremembered. It wasn't the first round. It was the second round. Cappelozza landed a good shot. Nemkov wasn't even visibly wobbled or what really hurt. He did back up and have to reset, but then the commentary team was like, oh, that's it. Cappelozza could change it with and as they're trying to, get out all of their talking points for Cappelozza and how dangerous he is, he gets taken down. Nemkov gets to the mount and puts him to sleep. Yeah, great finish. Beautiful arm triangle finish here. He puts in the arm triangle from mount and then hops over to the side. It's just a beautiful, beautiful work. Boom, right there. And then he goes to sleep. He's out. Nemkov looking really good. Oh, all right. Let's talk about Yoel Romero versus Tiago Santos. I don't want to, guys. I don't want to, but let's just get it over with, huh? I'm not super excited about talking about this. There was okay. Romero was looking really heavy. Neither guy was throwing anything for 90 seconds. Romero finally lands a low kick after at the 90-second mark. Santos hasn't opened up pretty much at all halfway through the round. Santos lands a right hand, and then after the reset, lands a low kick. Santos landing a nice right hand as he slowly backs up in circles. Santos might have landed more, but it doesn't have... There's not much to grade in this round. I had a 10-9 for Santos, but you could have a 10-9 for Romero. Horrible round, bad fight to watch. Chael Sonnen is talking about how the anticipation makes this fight exciting. Bullshit. Go back and watch you. Oh man, why is it drawn? Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. Go watch that one again. You tell me how exciting it was. Or Yoel Romero versus the last 5 opponents who aren't 50 years old themselves. Front kick to the body and the low kicks there for Santos as he avoids a cross-cage takedown from Romero. Santos is opening up in spats now, but Romero starts landing some low kicks, and Santos landing up top just a little bit. Low kicks from Romero start to add up in this round, and that's why I would give Romero this round. I had it 19-19 going to the third. Then the low kicks from Romero, and he throws a bullshit flying knee and clinches. He just did that to get into clinch range. I don't think he was really trying to land anything. Romero is yet again part of one of the worst fights in MMA history. 29-28 is bad. Bad to watch. Like, real bad. That was horrible. Boring fight. Oh, and then AJ McKee submitted Clay Collard. I actually didn't watch this one. I watched the highlights of it. The fight didn't go long enough. I missed it because it happened within the first 90 seconds of the fight. So he gets the triangle choke and taps Clay Collard and set up the night for Bellator. So Bellator had an excellent night here. I think that, I'll bookend this. First of all, I thought this was a bad production. I've been happier with PFL's production in the past. I think their lighting is really good. I think their audio is really good. The screen overlays can be a bit much at times. Their commentary team can be questionable at times. I think that the gold standard is still the UFC, whether you like it or not, right? You can talk about the quality of fights. You can talk about who avoids who. You can talk about anything you want. I'm talking about pure production here. Let's talk about who puts on the best show. Chael Sonnen kept talking about these entrances and who does it better, and this is so good, and look at this, and have you seen a better production than this? The pomp and circumstance and frill of a big screen and the flags, that the Bellator flags that they had planted in there, and the chair, the royal chair that they were sitting in. I'm not saying that's not cool, and it has its place, and that's fun. I miss the old Pride walk-ins with the fire and the wrestling style stuff. That's fine. But if you follow up a big production like that, right, with this big screen and this music and all this stuff with subpar or substandard lighting in your cage, it doesn't matter how good your shit is. You can't do that stuff. The lighting was so bad in there. I couldn't stand it. The fighters were so dark and underlit at points that you can't see the detail of what's going on. That's important when you're putting on a production for people to watch at home. I don't know what it looks like live. Maybe live it's great, but it's underlit. The commentary team was all over the place. Chael Sonnen did not have a good night. I think that they've had better. It just felt like a substandard production. And for this one to be how you come out showing, hey, PFL bought Bellator, my whole thing of, hey, this is like when Sears and Kmart joined hands and jumped off the cliff together. This feels like that. So they better turn it around soon. I mean, I'm all for more MMA, more organizations, and I'm more for fighters getting more pay and finding more opportunities. That's great. But you can't do that. You cannot start it like this. This was bad. It was underwhelming. And I'm not saying every fight's going to be a banger. You can't promise that. But your production quality can be great. And that was lacking here by far. One of the worst ones I've seen in a while. So anyway, I'll put out the UFC breakdowns later tonight or early tomorrow morning. Let me know what you guys thought. Do you guys think this rivals the UFC as far as talent? I hope at this point you can say no. You can realize no. The PFL I think in its own bubble can be entertaining, and the fighters in there are competitive with themselves, and I think that's fine. But when you start combining them with Bellator, you can kind of see where the PFL sits. Yeah. And we've seen people from the PFL and the UFC Bellator and the UFC go to PFL and not have instant success and whatever. But then we've also seen the guys who couldn't cut it in the UFC and now they win $1 million. So, let me know what you guys thought. I'm not sold on it yet. I'm not sold on how they're doing this stuff. If you guys like this stuff, thank you very much. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out. I love you guys. Have an amazing week. Peace.